Welcome back to the new year and another episode of Misc Mondays, where Laura and I just talk about a lot of miscellaneous stuff.
Mhm,
Catch up
mhm.
from the last week, but we're catching up this time from like a year. No, I feel like it's been a year. It's been a month. It's been a month. New
Yeah, I think
year,
it's been,
it's
like,
only been a month.
5 weeks.
Oh, geez, dude. That's
Yeah.
it feels so weird because it feels like it's been such a long time.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, especially since, so we hadn't actually mentioned this on the show because it was gonna be a surprise that I was in
Yes.
Denver. I was in Denver for 9 days, from the end of November to through the first week of December, and we were gonna stream together
It's
live,
going to
and
be
I
amazing.
got a cold.
Yeah.
And so we were in the same city at the same time for 9 days, and we never saw each other.
Accurate, accurate. And but that's I would say like the beauty of like I don't know, internet world is we can do it again later. We'll
Yes,
travel, we'll be
yes,
around.
yes. I did
Eventually
it
we'll be at
for
conferences together.
Yeah, yeah, and it was sort of sad because it was going to be like I there were things I wanted to do
Hmm.
in Denver, and I only saw daylight in Denver on the morning of the day that we left because
Ooh.
I got sick right after we arrived, and we took tests multiple times. We both had it, and we took the COVID tests like 3 times, they were always negative, and it followed, like, completely typical cold pattern for me, so I'm pretty sure it was a cold and not COVID. As far as I know, I haven't had COVID yet. And, yeah, it just took me out, and especially
Mm.
maybe with my asthma and the altitude, maybe?
Hmm.
So yeah, yeah, I didn't get to see I wanted to go to Tattered Cover. Actually, we did go to Tattered Cover, except I couldn't figure out which one was supposed to be, like, the big one because they have, like, 7 locations. And, so we went to one that I thought was gonna be the big one, but it's actually a teeny tiny one in the train station. But the train station was glorious. I had never been in a proper train station before. Like, I'd been on, like, local trains like, in local
Hmm.
train stations, like metropolitan transit type stuff, but not the big, train stations of yore. And this one was built in 1912 or 1914? I looked it up because I was like, "They don't build them like this anymore, right?" No, they don't. It's 100 years old.
There's a lot going through my mind right now. So, first off, I love how people come to visit Denver, and I have no idea what they're talking about because I haven't actually gone perusing yet. So, that's
Okay.
actually, I was kind of excited about you coming to town because I figured there'd be things you'd want to see. And I'd be like, can I just tag along? Because
Oh, are you new to Denver?
I have, I mean, we've lived here 2 years next
Oh,
month,
okay.
but like it was COVID and then working from home. I'm also a homebody.
Oh,
If
me too. Professional hermit.
Yeah, so me going and doing stuff by my like it's weird because I love to travel. Like I love traveling.
Mhm.
But if I'm home, I don't want to leave the house.
Mhm. 100% hear that, yeah.
So it was where yeah, I um I kind of count on people coming and doing things and just tagging along. But now I can go check out Tattered Cover and taking a look. Yo, hola, Ramon. Hola, Ramon. I read your
Hey,
name and it
Ramon.
it didn't transition yet. It's early. It's, getting back in the swing of things. Oh, I meant like seeing their username and then knowing their real name.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. I have been to the Chicago train stations,
Okay.
and I'm trying to look up how old they are. I don't remember
Mhm,
them. I just remember being there, which
mhm,
is also weird. But
mhm.
Union Station here in Denver is super dope.
Yeah, it's so pretty.
It is. It is.
Mhm.
And oh, talking about people that are not um, home buddies like I am, is my friend Venya. she gets me to go do things because she finds out about free museum days. And it was free museum day while you were here, but you weren't feeling good. So I didn't tell you
Mhm.
about it.
I don't go to free museum days because 'cause they're too crowded.
It wasn't too bad. It was on a
Really?
Monday. It was on a
They usually
Monday.
are. Okay.
Yeah. It was on
Free
a Monday
museum
and
days
it's
in San
school.
Francisco are just packed.
Yes.
Horrible.
Yes.
Ah!
I agree. And the next one is a different museum that we're going in this month, and it's on a Tuesday. And
Mhm.
I'm hoping that it'll be like not too crowded again because
Okay.
kids are in school.
That doesn't seem to matter here for some
Oh,
reason. I don't know why.
okay. Field trips,
Um,
maybe.
it could be that, or people just being like, "Guess what, kids? You're not going to school today. Today we're going to the thing," you know?
Is that a thing? Like, do people just pull their kids out of school for like no reason or like to do that kind of stuff? I feel like I don't remember this growing up and I don't have kids. So,
So, it's hard for me to say exactly. So, it's something I totally would do. Um, it's not something I have done because I have only had kids enrolled in an actual school, um, since August, right before COVID. So,
oh, okay.
because I homeschooled my older 2, and actually they still are now, and, like, they're back to it, and then my youngest is in, a Montessori school, but because of all the COVID stuff, it just so it hasn't the stars haven't aligned to where I there was something where I was like, "I wanna go do this. Okay, we're leaving school." Actually, my parents did take me to things when I like, they took me on trips, not to museums and so on, but we traveled during school when I was a kid.
I'm jelly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was a total thing, like, your teacher would give you a packet. I remember being at Disneyland with my packet of, uh of schoolwork, like, sitting there in the hotel doing it in the evening or whatever, homework packet.
I
Um,
am
yeah.
distractedly ADHDing, adding a um, graphic to um, our stream.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So y'all, something random is this is what I love about streaming with Laura is there's no judgment and I can be super distracted about things even though I don't love it, but Laura doesn't yell at me about it.
Nope, we're all mad here. The Alice in Wonderland.
And Ramon MR,
I have no idea either, I'm afraid.
Myrrh,
I got nothing. An MR stream.
adding to our stream,
Oh, oh? Yeah, R? Our R is in hour,
maybe. That's what
maybe?
I'm thinking.
I have no idea.
I'm going with no need to be sorry. It's making seeing if we're awake yet because I know I'm not and we also didn't really tell anybody about today's stream because it's
Mhm.
just um getting back into the swing of things.
Yeah, yeah.
We were talking about that routines.
Mhm.
Routines are exciting
We
and
also
really
both
boring.
talked about how we love Ramon, so
Yes, yes, we
mhm,
do talk about that often.
mhm. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Uh,
Um, but you wanted to talk about why were we talking about you? I told her you're my internet best friend.
well, and it came up because I was saying that, I love working with the folks that we work with, Ramon at Suborbital, because, we enjoy each other's, like, humanity, and so even though we've been not working since right before, Christmas, we've still checked in, in, like, our social channels and so on because we like each other. Yeah. So
Yep.
that's how it came up. We don't actually just like sit around talking about you, all the time when we're off stream because that would be weird. But yeah.
I do. I talk about everybody off stream. I'm always like, yo, Laura and I talked about this, and Tyler gets mad at me because he's like, I don't, you talk to so many people. How am I supposed to keep this straight?
Hey,
I'm like,
Bakari. Happy New Year.
magic. What up, Bakari? I am not in the right bubble to look at that stuff because I'm still trying to get fix this graphic. And bam, not perfect, but I feel like it's pretty good.
He's cute.
We could put it at the top, but for now that works. Um,
Mhm.
yes, and now one thing that Laura mentioned that she wanted to talk about is Twitter.
Yeah, yeah, because like we usually not today because we were just doing like one step at a time to ease ourselves back into this new year. And so we didn't try to advertise ahead of time that we were going to
Yes,
be streaming.
exactly.
Neatly sidestepping the question of where do we let people know that we're streaming? Because I haven't posted on Twitter in like some weeks now. I check in to see because there are some people who are only posting on Twitter, and I don't want to lose track of them altogether. But probably 80% of the people that I wanted to keep track of on Twitter have now moved to Mastodon. And so that's where I spend most of my social media time. Um, but yeah, so it feels like I'm not sure how to, I don't even know what I'm saying necessarily. Just a generalized, what are we going to do?
Where are our humans? Where did they go? What are they doing?
Yeah. What do you want to do?
Um, I would like Twitter to stay a thing. Um, because I like Twitter.
Hmm.
I don't like what's happening to it, but I like Twitter.
Hmm.
Um, that being said, I like Mastodon, but and like you and I think Ramon also uses Polywork,
Yeah.
and I'm just like there there's so many. And then what about LinkedIn and TikTok and like what are we doing? Because I realize and something I like is I'm not on Facebook and Instagram anymore, even though
Hmm.
I need to be for the podcast and do more there. I really like the fact that I am not on it because I feel like that one I was way more. It feels very everybody's life is better than mine right now kind of feel whenever I look at
Oh.
those.
Hmm.
Uh, where TikTok oddly is very informational to me. Like I learn a lot from
Hmm.
TikTok,
Hmm.
and LinkedIn is a thing. Um, I guess what the way I'm thinking about this is I've enjoyed Twitter because it's a conversation. Like you can have this conversation with anybody, and um, can I share a term someone gave me for LinkedIn?
Oh,
Yes,
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 please.
Ramon, please.
And Bakari says, I don't have the button to like
Oh
display
yeah,
the.
because we gotta log you in.
Oh, oh
We'll
yeah,
do
yeah,
that next week.
yeah.
We'll get back there.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's really interesting, which groups have left Twitter, which groups are sort of on both, say, Twitter and Mastodon or Twitter and somewhere, like, there are lots of candidates for what we're on if it's not Twitter and it's not Mastodon. There's, like, Post and Hive and so on, um, yeah. Oh, Ramon, corporate fan fiction.
I dig it. I dig it.
That is awesome. Ah, that is precisely, yeah. Um, yeah, I don't like LinkedIn much. It's sort of a maybe it's a necessary evil. I'm not convinced anymore that it's a necessary evil. Um, because I found direct networking through, well, in fact, Twitter, to be a much more effective way of getting a job and, well, networking in general. I mean, you and I wouldn't be talking if it weren't for Twitter because you and I met each
Yeah.
other through Ramon, and I got my job. I met Ramon through my job. I got my job through a thing that was from Twitter originally, and I don't know how you met Ramon originally, but I'm betting that
Twitter.
Twitter had something to do with it. Yep. Right. So, yes, I've never nothing good has ever happened for me from LinkedIn. Um, and it seems to be like you have to have a LinkedIn for like corporate normies, I guess. I'm just gonna go slightly spicy and just say that. But mostly I don't want to work with them.
I would
You
say
know?
it's interesting to me with LinkedIn is I found this out with Denver Startup Week is there's still a lot of developers and mid to upper management that aren't on Twitter when, Twitter was more of the mainstream part
Mhm,
and they were on LinkedIn.
mhm,
And I feel like to me, LinkedIn isn't necessarily a place to find something because it is a very formal process to talk to someone, or like request or comment or any of that,
mhm.
where, but it's really easy to keep up with people of like, oh, hey, add me on LinkedIn because not everybody has Twitter. Most people have LinkedIn. So it's like,
Mhm.
hey, add me on LinkedIn. And it's like not too personal because Drunken Jen used to tell people to add them on Facebook. I say that I
Oh.
have probably 100 plus people. I have no idea who they are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Where LinkedIn is at least a little safer. And
Sure.
Ramon said that they find it tricky to dismiss LinkedIn outright, like WhatsApp in South America, Telegram in East Europe. LinkedIn has their user basis.
Yeah, yeah. I still have LinkedIn. I would still keep it updated, but I don't look at LinkedIn very often. I do accept most connection requests through LinkedIn.
Hmm.
Not all, but most because as you say, it's very public. It's not I don't put anything nobody puts private stuff on LinkedIn, at least I hope they don't. Oh, okay.
But that's just
Right.
because I have the podcast. So I just like air my dirty laundry
Oh, sure,
everywhere.
sure, sure, yeah. Yeah, I
I'm
guess I
kind of
was
the
thinking
exception
of
on that one.
for me, the kind of stuff that I had a Facebook account, and I made sure to prune it really, really regularly because I had pictures of my kids. And
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't like I never had my kids in, like, the banner picture or my profile pictures, like, you could not see pictures of my children on Facebook unless you were a friend of mine. And I always had it set so that like people could not share photos of like if I had like the share button did not work
Mm-hmm.
to share photos of my kids, but you could still like download them and re-upload them, right? I haven't had a Facebook account for a while. But and I've never put photos of my kids' faces on Twitter. Um, and so on. So, I guess from like, when I was thinking of private stuff, like, I wouldn't put pictures of my kids on LinkedIn
Yeah.
either.
Where like I don't necessarily have that concern. Like
Mhm,
I purposely go like I ask my friends if they have any issues with me posting on their about their kids and things, and
mhm,
they don't really care, a lot of them. But I also see
mhm,
why parents would. I I purposely talk about Tyler on almost all of my platforms because he's not very on social media,
Mhm.
but it makes me, it's like also a way to ward off creepers.
Oh, oh, yeah, I
So if I
completely
talk about my
understand.
partner, I also like showing him off because he's really cool and
Mhm,
he's handsome. Mm.
mhm,
Let me get over to what Ramon said. I think it's also important to acknowledge that LinkedIn plays a job in role hunting, especially in their first role. Can't say how this is in North America, but but it does have a place here in Central Europe. Um,
that's really interesting. 'Cause
but
I'm not sure that I would ever have gotten my first role if I had tried to use LinkedIn much for that.
yeah, I find LinkedIn useful. I have a significant following. Then again, I'm on around 7 platforms where I have a following.
Mhm.
Yibbidi. Bakari agrees with your Facebook philosophy. And uh, Ramon agrees with Bakari. I think for me, I didn't need it as much as I was freelancing most of my career.
Mhm.
Oh, side note, just total side note. I am freelancing more and it's fun.
Yay!
So,
Nice.
anybody has like tech writing stuff or other content needing made, or newbie dev stuff, I'm so down. Think of me. Um,
Yeah.
uh,
So what have you been up to?
I am working on currently. I'm building a Discord server.
Mhm.
So they have a community. I am also working on blogs for 6 blogs a month for a Kubernetes serverless company. So that's been a lot of learning,
Yeah.
and also looking at possibly doing some dev work with uh, authentication.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
I'm like,
exciting.
yeah, this is going to be fun. We're just going to learn all the things. Still looking for a full time job.
Mhm.
But, if I can make a lot of money with freelancing, I'm totally down to do that too.
Sure.
So, yes.
Yep.
But I think it's interesting about LinkedIn is to what Ramon was saying about finding a first job and finding work.
Mhm.
I'm just thinking about this. I have never gotten a job off of LinkedIn.
Mhm. I actually don't know anybody who's ever gotten a job on LinkedIn.
That was going to be my follow up. I'm like, I don't know if I know anybody that's gotten it.
Nope.
Ramon, Bakari, do y'all know some people that have gotten jobs off of LinkedIn?
I mean, especially, like, compared to the volume of jobs that I know have been filled through something like Twitter, say.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just not even it would be many orders of magnitude. And I have a math degree, so, like, I don't say that lightly, right? Um, "Hey, homie, happy
What
New
up,
Year."
homie? And Ramon just said that they do know folks that have, but caveat, right? They met outside of LinkedIn, but connected and carried stuff through LinkedIn.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah, I think I know of. I think it's also that idea of, you a lot of times you get hired based on your network.
Right. Yeah.
So
And I
like
think
you
that's
don't.
supposed to be what LinkedIn is for. It's supposed to
Yeah,
be for building your network. I just don't find that it actually works that way.
yeah, and homie, just no, I haven't gotten a job. I still really need a job, but I started freelancing more. So if you knew anybody that needs freelancers, tech
Mhm.
writing, community building, some dev work, I'll do it. I'll enjoy it. It'll be fun. Um, oh, Bakari's gotten a job.
We now both officially know one person who has gotten a job through LinkedIn.
Yes.
Woo!
And
Tons of
uh,
recruiters. 100% on the tons of recruiters. I
yes.
just like until the moment when you, Bakari, said that you had actually gotten a job that way, I had never heard of anybody getting a job, even with all of the tons of recruiters. Like it's just spam, it seems like a lot of the time.
What up? Uh, you also are like follow me on Rivet said, I think it's good for following up with your network, but I find it's most useful when you met someone outside of LinkedIn and
Mhm.
then went forward through LinkedIn. And that is
Yep.
so true because that's actually how I met you. Is we met at Denver Startup Week. And then
Mhm.
I try to ask people, do they have LinkedIn or do they have Twitter?
Mhm.
But something that made it really, really easy to connect with people is let me see if I can. LinkedIn has the barcode. So I actually made that my background on my phone
Oh,
and people
clever.
could just scan it.
Nice.
So
Mhm.
I was just walking around like this and I would just unlock my phone and be like, look, this is add me on LinkedIn. And it was
Mhm.
a lot easier. Um and I mean I could do a QR code. Like we could all do a QR code to like let's say a link tree where it has all of your
Mhm.
links or your website. And it's it's an extra step because then they have to choose a platform. And yes, Ramon, they do have it on Twitter as well, but
Mhm.
not everybody has Twitter where more people have LinkedIn.
Mhm.
And I think that to get back to what Laura was first talking about, I think that's the hard thing with choosing a platform. Like, so
Mhm.
I don't want to say that LinkedIn is evil, but it's like an unnecessarily got to keep around because like everybody has it kind of thing.
Okay, so maybe evil is too strong. Maybe it's
Yeah,
unnecessary drag.
I like that. I like that.
Mhm. And not the
Um,
good kind of drag, like RuPaul, you know?
yes. Yes,
Mhm.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I think it's also so oh, that's a good way of saying it, Bakari. LinkedIn is like an anchor point for
Mhm.
people that they met in real life. They
Yeah.
use those connections as a jumping off point to connect with second degree folks for referrals.
See, this is what I really hope. I would love for Polywork to supplant LinkedIn. Um, and I just think it's much it just feels like a much more human place. Um, and you can because I mean that's actually the entire point of it, right? That's why it's called Polywork. Like poly is many, right? So it's many work. And so it's supposed to represent like all of the facets of you that aren't just your job title. Because on LinkedIn, you are your job title. And that's it.
Fair.
You're your job title and your previous job titles and your education. And
I think
that's all.
that's yeah, Ramon just said they have a few things in their life that they can call accomplishments. One of them is successfully turning off LinkedIn email notifications back in 2014. I agree with that, and I also want to say that I think that's something about LinkedIn is it is a good place to keep a record of your accomplishments.
But so is Polywork, and it includes accomplishments that LinkedIn does not care about.
Mm. I think I have a polywork. I haven't really used it. I say that
Mhm.
because I'm following one person and I have 16 followers. And my guess, oh, I'm following Wesley. I thought I was
Is the
following Laura.
Faulkner?
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
but apparently, and I think Mastodon is the same thing.
Mhm.
Um, where like I'm like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just here. Uh,
Ramon is
What?
so right about it's hard to turn off all the LinkedIn
Yes.
notifications. They are always trying to sneak in around corners. They're like, "Hey, I know
Yes.
you said you didn't want emails, but how about this other type of email? And if not that, how about
Yes.
these 5 different types of emails?" And it's whack-a-mole. Yeah.
I would say that's something that I like to be able to customize as much as they do customize,
Mhm,
because I have notifications off for LinkedIn on my phone,
mhm.
where if I forget to check it, it will tell me if I have a new message in email.
Mm.
So I do like that feature.
I like the customization. I just don't like the default is opt-in
Mm, mhm,
as opposed
mhm.
to opt-out. Don't like that.
Uh, Most of my polywork invitations tend to be spam dishonest, sadly.
That's so interesting because I haven't had a single one of those. Now that is probably because I am a very small person on Polywork and Ramon is a giant, but, yeah.
Ramon said,
Mm,
invitation to join a podcast. Cool, open polywork. Can you please check out this app? Or
mm,
spam is the dark side of social media. Yes, it is, especially on Twitter. People asking for a laptop or a job.
yeah.
And I'm like, dude, we've never even talked. Why?
Mhm.
Um, I think that's true. What and Chris, if you're still here, I'm curious about your opinion too. What do y'all think? Like, if you could choose a platform, what would you choose and why?
I'm gonna need more information.
I'm
When
gonna,
you
I'm gonna,
say choose a platform, you mean like choose I only get to have one?
yeah. Like, if you were only
Mm.
to get to have one, I'm gonna say Twitter, Mastodon, Polywork, and LinkedIn. If those are all, I think, are kind of, you know, pretty well known, but I mean, it also could be that we run in the same circles, so that's why they're well known to me. Um, Really quick, for what Chris said of um, they find that a problem on LinkedIn.
Mm.
Having CTO or see anything as your job title is like crack crack lace catnip for spammers.
Mhm.
That is true. And that was actually something that I first noticed is Chris had it on their profile of like, don't contact me for a job. And I was like, fair enough. Something that I've noticed about CTOs lately is what is the difference between just a regular CTO and a field CTO?
I've never even come across field CTO, so
Yeah, field CTO is like there's multiple and oh, what company do they work at? I'm gonna have to look it up. I think their name is Mike.
So Bakari says they would combine the best features of multiple platforms, and that's totally what I wanted to say. I didn't think that it was in the rules. Uh, and I'm a rule follower. So I thought we had to choose one and not combine them all. If we can combine them all, that's totally what I want to do. Not all. I don't actually want to combine LinkedIn.
Okay, so Ramon said is not an option, and Bakari would combine them all. And thank you, Chris. Field CTO is like a highly technical salesman, account manager, and also like a fractional CTO. And I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, fractional CTO is where they're not full time. They're just doing some work of like, hey, we're going to be your CTO until you can hire someone full time or you're
Mhm.
good. And Bakari, you are a rule breaker. I like learning the rules and then bending them to what makes the best goodness in the world. But All right, what features would you keep of all of them? What are your favorite features?
Um, the reach of Twitter and okay, I guess I would sort of combine them all into Twitter. Like, I have Twitter as the base and, like, pulling from the others, and in a sense, that slightly is happening because there's that extension now for Polywork, where if you're logged if you have the extension, then, if you look at somebody's profile and they're on Polywork, like, if you look at their Twitter profile and they're on Polywork, there will be a button that says, like, they're open to collaborate, um, and, like, what they're open to collaborate on, and
Oh,
so
that's
on.
dope.
It totally is, and so that's sort of already, a thing. Um, I would love to bring into Twitter from Mastodon the okay, so I'm going to say this, but there's this huge caveat. I was going to say the politeness, I suppose, but it's that very white kind of politeness where there's this huge emphasis on like not upsetting people, which I think is good until it gets to the point where white people are saying, but also you can't talk about racism because that upsets me. And
Damn.
that's like, no, fuck you completely, right?
Yes.
So that but I have not missed, I should say, on Twitter where the like rudeness, I guess, where people like will say the comments that start with "You do realize."
Ooh.
I hate that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so over it. I don't
I
no.
don't realize.
Maybe they didn't realize, in which case you're saying that in the you do realize in a way that, like, the only thing that that means is you do know this, you're just pretending that you don't because you're a jerk, or you don't know this, and that means that I look down upon you for not knowing it.
Ooh. Bakari just added a good one
Mhm,
of searchability from YouTube, quirkiness and growth of TikTok, networking from LinkedIn, and maturity of Facebook. Um, Ramon said that they find people forget that they are at some point did not realize at the same point earlier.
mhm.
Chris, I just wish Mastodon had a stronger affiliation with the band Mastodon. I thought a bunch of people were just starting to really get into the band. Um, so Chris, you just like set this up so well. So I have to like, you do realize that it's a social media platform. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You set it up so good. And now I gotta also check out the band. Um, and I don't know why I find always that so funny when those come up. Uh,
Mhm,
I do think that it's definitely something. I know Clubhouse does, if Clubhouse is still a thing, does like what Twitter Spaces do. And I
mhm.
feel like that is probably the reason why I am more than likely not going to leave Twitter.
Are Twitter Spaces back? I thought they were gone.
They were gone for less than 24 hours.
Hmm, okay.
Um, which that's a big reason I was going to leave Twitter, but
Mhm,
I love Twitter Spaces.
mhm,
I honestly, they are I'm not always a typer. I like to talk to people
mhm,
as I have a live stream and we
mhm,
have
mhm,
miscellaneous Mondays. Uh, and I think that's something that it's harder when people have to go to an additional platform. There are
mhm,
some cool tools where I've had people reach out about Wednesday's Twitter Spaces, which are mental health and neurodiversity in tech. And they're like, hey, we love the work you're doing, yet we're not going to join the Twitter Spaces because we need to take time off of Twitter. And
mhm.
I find that so valid because I think that's part of what I wish all of these platforms did, like Facebook, of separating their messenger or their Twitter spaces from the platform.
Mhm. Mhm. Have you seen Angie Jones' talk from, I don't know, it was like maybe a month ago? Um, and she was talking about, because she works for Block, I think it's called. It's Jack Dorsey's new company, and they're going all in on Web5. And she gave this really great talk about how the idea of decentralization, like decentralizing your data, like, and then with that, like, then owning your data, that would mean that you could arrive at a platform with every, like, you could move platforms without losing your content and your followers and your followees and like all of that stuff. And I'm kind of hoping that that can eventually turn into something where we do get to bring all the best features of all the different platforms. So, like, it's okay if you don't have a Twitter account and you don't want to be on Twitter. You can be listening to the space through some other platform, and that's a little bit of what Mastodon is sort of trying to do, except that it's really missing the part where that it makes it easier to do those things. It's not easier yet. Um, but it's maybe someday. And I would love to hear from Bakari about almost being hired on Angie Jones' team, because I mean, I would die if I were being interviewed by Angie Jones. I would just be like, "Hi."
And while you're typing that out, Bakari, what is Web 5? Web 5 is meant to be a decentralized web platform that provides developers with the ability to create decentralized web applications with verifiable credentials and decentralized web nodes. The purpose of this platform is to reclaim control and ownership of user data. I dig it. And Bakari replied, that's a long story.
Mhm.
Okay,
It's okay.
so DM us. We're curious.
Mm.
um,
Ooh, senior dev advocate. Ooh.
yeah, that would have been dope.
Mhm.
Now, I know there was another topic you wanted to talk about, and now I don't remember what it was. We came up with two. It was Twitter. Should have written this down.
Oh, it was, Jay's podcast.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Jay
So
podcast.
so Jay's not with us today. Happy holidays, Jay. I was listening to Jay's podcast. It's called Conduit, and they have a segment talking about productivity, like what I can't remember what they call it now. But it's like a productivity check-in, like tools they're using for productivity and or like systems and oh, systems check, that's what they call it, systems check. I would love to copy that that idea, if it's okay with Jay. Because I would love to talk about that kind of thing.
Um, totally. And as a total side note, I was going to Jay's website. Yeah, like I was going to go grab it and go into the website. So give me a second, uh, Ramon, and I'm going look and I'm like, that's my face. I'm just like, in case anybody's curious, that's kind of. But I'll link Jay's website. It does show the podcast right here, and
Mhm.
I'm
I'm gonna
I'm
see
just
if I
gonna
can
click this.
find the
Hey,
episode. Here is one. Oops.
hey, yay!
Yay! That's
I need to read
nice.
this. I feel
That's
so
super
special.
cool.
Okay, sorry, just found that, y'all. But the website is also linked on there, and this was posted a month ago. Where was I?
Okay. I have just dropped a link to the last systems check episode.
And they also have it on Relay where you can watch it or listen to it. It clicks to all the platforms.
Mhm.
But
Ooh, I do want to follow up with
yes, I
Bakari.
was just about to
Got
go
to
back to
the
it.
final 4 people. That's that's an accomplishment.
Yeah,
Like, that's that would be
100%.
on my, like, 2022 highlight reel. I got to the top 4. So
Hmm.
congratulations, because that's huge.
And it was a bunch of political folks. Politics are dumb. Uh, and oh yeah, uh, yeah. I have. I actually have a. Ramon and I are going to be a part of a conference, a mini conference. Should we
Ooh,
call it a mini conference? Yeah, we could call it a mini conference. Um, uh, I'm grabbing the link for it. It is content. Oh, it is called a mini conference. Content creation mini conference, and it's going today and tomorrow.
very
Oh,
cool.
so I will link that. It's in Discord. I'm pretty sure.
Mhm,
Yeah, it's just going to be in Discord. So that'll be fun. Um, and yes, let's go hit up Jay and see if, not like right now, but see if Jay would be okay with us using, you said it was called Tech Stack?
no, systems check.
Systems Check. Oh, that is
Yeah,
cool.
and we could
Yeah,
call it something else.
but I like their name
Um,
too.
yeah, yeah,
Yes, I like that idea. I like that idea a lot.
mhm,
And I feel like this was a good first step of us getting back into routines. This is
mhm,
us going back to every Monday, Misc Mondays, and
mhm.
also I gotta go look at. We also have to get our Fridays. Oh, okay, they're still on there. They go next next Friday. Sweet,
Cool.
good, good. Because definitely needed to make sure that was back on there for Python. Oh, I got
Mhm.
my book. Did I show you my book? I don't
No.
know if I showed you my book. Ugh. So I'm going to show you both books. So I have Learning TypeScript, which I will be going through every other Friday with Josh.
Mhm,
In comparison, just Learning TypeScript. Look how
mhm,
thin this is.
mhm.
Automate the boring stuff. Look at the difference.
Yeah. I'd be curious to know the difference in the font sizes. Because that was something that struck me about Automate the Boring Stuff, which I had on Kindle. I've never actually been in the same room as the physical book. But the font was really large. Not obstructively large, but was big on the ebook.
I don't know if they're all that different.
Mhm.
Um,
Interesting.
I will I
Oh,
will
you know
share my
what?
screen
You
here
have a
shortly.
newer edition than I do as
Uh,
well, I
it
think.
oh, it's a second edition, which
Okay.
is I think he's on his fourth edition now.
Okay.
So I don't
Okay,
know if they've
that's exciting.
reprinted it, but
Mhm.
yes, it's I got my books and
Mhm.
yes, yes, that is very, very true. Bye, Bakari and Chris, you were so right. That it is I love paper and the reason I got books is because for learning purposes, if I it's so weird. I feel very weird about this, but um I have to use text to voice to be able to hear it, to learn it and things like that.
Mhm.
But having a physical book that I can write in of
Mhm.
here's a note or put a sticky note by it or highlight something is so much better for my learning process. So that's actually
Mhm.
why I got the books. And also, as a very, very weird side note, I found out that I really like taking notes during D&D. And I actually added it to my character, but really cool. Apparently, I'm just going to show you guys all the cool stuff right now. Um, is there's campaign journals. Ooh, campaign journals,
Nice.
but they're cool. For those who haven't played D&D or know what it is, it's called Dungeons and Dragons. It is a role-playing game where you basically have a board and uh, I looked and can't read at the same time. Chris said, "What are you playing? Do a Misc Monday about your D&D campaign." I could. I should probably have my DM on. I could probably have all of them on because we live stream Friday nights about on D&D.
Mhm.
So, but it's on my buddy stream. But I just got these this weekend, so I have to fill them out. But it's so cool because I can put all my character stuff in here, and
Mhm.
I'm really excited about this because building my character this time, I didn't know the process. So, I feel like if I were to have written it out at the very beginning, I would have remembered better on what they are because it like gives you a bunch of like it gives you a number of something and then you have to remember if it gets played and know what they all mean. And I'm like, if I wrote that down, I probably would have remembered better than
That
staring at
makes
the screen.
sense.
So lots of learning with Laura things because I have learned this since doing stuff with you.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, this has been it's been a wild ride of the last how long did you say we were doing this? 4 months
Mhm.
of learning my own learning process where
Mhm.
I think I'm gonna actually get real flashcards.
Okay.
But now that I'm going through my old videos, I'm actually like I just did Ramon's beginning of December because it's been a wild ride. December was I actually have been going through and making my repos for them. Where when I
Mm.
started, I did everything local. So now that I'm getting my repos done, A, it's way easier to do this stuff now than when I first started. I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, that makes so much more sense now.
Yeah.
So I've been going through that, and that's been
Mhm.
really helpful instead of just trying to do them right away, giving it time. And
Spaced
then,
repetition.
yes, and then I listened to this book um, that I found quite long and boring, but it was
Mhm.
helpful at the same time of The Learning Brain.
Mm. Mhm.
And it talked about a lot of learning practices and basically reiterated in a less interesting way a lot of what you taught me.
Oh,
Yeah, it was just really
cheers.
boring. But I was like, I'm going to listen to this. So,
Mhm.
yes. But
Mhm.
I'm excited that we got back to Misc Mondays because it's it's been needed. It's
Yeah.
definitely been needed.
Yep. Yep. And I mean, you and I talked about how we had missed each other over the last 5 weeks and have also missed, like, Bakari
Yeah.
and like, Monday group,
Yeah,
the
the
Monday
Monday crew.
club. Mhm.
And Homie and
Yep.
Ramon and
Yeah.
Chris. Now you just have to show up on Mondays and hang out with us too. I'll
Mhm.
talk more about D&D. I play a sorcerer gif, which a gif is an elephant. And so one of my favorite things, so it's a lot of like acting, like you have to
Mhm.
act as part of this and
Mhm.
role play. And
Mhm.
so my character is like 7 foot and like 1,000 pounds. So
Okay.
like an elephant,
Mhm.
it's a humanoid elephant. Um, and then I just like amplify my own personality in the most annoying way. And it's so
Mhm.
fun. Like, I'm like, oh my God, this, can we just be friends? So any like bad guy I meet or any like person I meet, I'm like, oh my God, let's be friends. It's gonna be so fun. And then when
Mhm.
they say something, I'm like, that I don't like, I'm always like, ew, no.
Mm.
Ooh, what's a loxodon? I don't know. I don't know what a loxodon is. I'm playing,
Me
I'm Googling it. I don't know. Oh, it's an elephant person race? Oh, this is cool. We're playing Spelljammer. So I don't know if that goes into something. Um, I'm learning that type of thing because like I know like so there's the 5E, which I think is like fifth version or something, like fifth edition.
Mhm.
So there, and then they have like different books and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't understand that all yet. But
Mhm.
for anybody that needs like more play in their life, go play D&D.
I have never been able to get into D&D.
What has not caught your attention? What's been the struggle? That's a proper way of saying that.
Struggle would probably imply that I have put more effort into it than I have.
Ah,
Um, I guess nothing I have ever heard about D&D has ever made me want to play it. And my husband would really like it if I did. And so I have offered, like I'll give it a go. I'm not saying no. I'll do it. But he doesn't like playing games with me when I'm like doing it for him. It's only
ah,
fun for him if it's also fun for me.
that totally makes sense.
Yeah, and so, yeah, so we haven't done it. My sister plays, my kids would be into it. I don't know, just no. I guess I've never like, I liked theater,
Hmm.
but not improv.
It's definitely more, it's like combining the two.
Mhm,
And I would say I the way I got signed up for D&D was I started joining somebody's Twitter space, Jacob, and I just linked his Twitch down below. And yes, yes, I agree with this last comment. D&D can be very different depending on the group you play with and what the theme is.
mhm,
100%.
mhm,
Um, and they were like talking about D&D and like in passing, I'm like, oh, I want to play someday. And then they were like, okay, cool. We're starting a new campaign in like a week. And I was like, what did I just get myself signed up for? So it's definitely something that I wasn't planning on it. And it was a lot of learning,
Mhm,
yet, and it's totally past my bedtime. Like I go to bed every day around 8:39.
mm.
And that's when it starts, is at 8:30
Ooh,
on a Friday night. So I always nap beforehand.
poof.
And
Yeah.
but I've had the best like full belly hurts laughs from playing this game. And it is incredibly silly and fun and uses curiosity and puzzle solving.
Mhm,
And I think a lot of it, I agree again with it being like depends on the group because
mhm,
they knew I was a newbie going into it. So they also let me get away with more because I'm like, I don't know how to ask if a, like, because the dungeon master is basically the one who knows all the behind the scenes,
mhm,
it's where you have to know ways of asking them, oh, will I find any loot here? Kind of thing. That's not the best way to ask them. And they had to teach me all of that.
mhm.
And just sticking out for the campaign was my plan. But now I'm like, when this one's done, I'm signing up again.
Mm,
Uh, that if you're interested in it, I personally think it would be easier to do with strangers or like
mhm,
internet friends than with my family or friends, like
mhm,
locally, because yes, Chris, it's like playing pretend for adults.
mhm,
Because like if it's strangers or at least like people you don't really see in like a business or like work or things like that, it allows you to be silly because they're not gonna like super judge you.
mhm. I think that it's because nothing that I've ever heard about it has made it sound like something I would probably like. But there's also a gigantic learning curve. Like, you have to put so much work into learning this game that I don't think so.
And that's fair. I will say that's not what I meant to do. I'm trying to like block this thing. Let me block it. Okay, it's not gonna let me. Whatever. Oh, might if I do this. No? Okay, fine. Um, I think it's something that I will say as a learning curve, I just showed up and was like, I'm just gonna learn as I go. And
Sure.
outside of that, in the last, oh God, I think we started playing beginning of September.
Mhm.
I think I've put a couple hours outside of it, like maybe three.
But all the Fridays.
Most Fridays. We're kind of
Okay.
really last minute and it starts at like 8:30 my time.
Mhm,
And at like 8 o'clock, we're like roll checking and seeing if we're actually gonna play that
mhm.
night.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's also something that I really appreciate about the team that I'm playing with
Mhm,
is they are very like, oh, you can't make it? Okay, cool, whatever. Like it it can still move along. Like there's some weeks that it can't, like in the storyline, but
mhm,
other weeks I'm like, it allows it so if I make plans, and mine happens to be on a Friday night. They have a Tuesday night game. Other people do like Saturday mornings or Sunday or Monday. Like
mhm,
it is a commitment,
mhm.
but it's also, I think it's one of the most fun things I've ever done.
Good. Good, good.
Yeah. And don't tell Jacob because
Okay.
he's a really good DM and it's really fun. But
Yeah,
yeah. Okay. Thank you for letting me like downward spiral with D&D knowledge telling you about. That
of
was fun.
course.
Um, yes. D&D can take a lot of time, especially if you're not limiting yourself. Yeah.
Mm. Mhm,
And this is a weird thing. When I first started playing D&D, the first, I want to say, couple sessions actually was like, I need to have a drink with this so I can get into character.
mhm,
And after that, I'm like, I don't want to drink. And it's been
mm,
more fun, but like because it's because of me, not because of the alcohol.
mm. See, okay, so that sounds really familiar because, um, my husband and I played Magic: The Gathering for a
Oh, okay.
while, but I could only play it while tipsy
Okay.
because I could not stand it otherwise.
Then
Um
I come from like a world of I used to play World of Warcraft. I've played Magic the Gathering.
Mhm,
I love this kind of stuff.
mhm,
Um, but if you're not liking magic and
mm-mm,
nothing on this like captures your interest, then I would like I still think everybody should check it out of all of them because
mhm,
I personally have never grown my magic deck. I used to compete and people would just give me their their other deck because most like
mhm.
avid Magic players have multiple decks, and they would actually try
Mhm,
to get me to play on their like even if I'm playing them, to play on their alt deck so that way they
mhm.
knew the best way to play.
Yeah.
And I think Magic the Gathering is also costs a shit ton. So
Mm,
one of the reasons I never really got into Magic, because you have to get like good cards, good care, like that type of thing. World of Warcraft is something that I really want to go back into, but I'm also a gaming addict, so I can't go back into it.
mm,
D&D is like my happy medium,
mhm, mhm.
but it's are there games that you like? Do you like any video games or anything?
So, yes, but, the number of games that I play is really small because of the time it takes to learn to play a game. Like,
Mm,
the time it takes to learn a new game, the time even the time that it takes to get into a new television series is a barrier for me, you know?
okay.
So yeah, I love Portal,
Oh, I like Portal. Okay.
um, and Portal 2.
Yeah.
I did play Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2.
I'm
Sanctum,
guessing that's a zombie one.
it is.
Okay.
Sanctum and Sanctum 2 was especially fun because it was, multiplayer. I think that's it.
So,
Oh,
and I'm
Solitaire. I play Solitaire.
nice. Nice. I on that note, um and Tyler makes fun of me for this all the time. I play, please load. Please
Oh,
load.
Plants vs. Zombies. I played Plants vs. Zombies. I do like a good tower defense.
Project Makeover, which is
Nice.
just um it's a like basically like just a silly, it's not quite Candy Crush, but something like Candy Crush. And I really like it because then I can concentrate on that, like while I'm on a call or something like that. So that way it's not necessarily mind numbing, but it keeps my mind active while listening to a podcast or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's the
but
right amount of friction. So
yes.
I think about it like if you're walking on ice,
Uh huh.
you're slipping because there's not enough friction.
Ooh,
And
I like that.
versus like if you're trying to walk through mud, there's too much friction. It's too hard. Right? And so you have to get the friction just right, and that is exactly when I play solitaire. So I play solitaire when I'm listening to a podcast or when I'm on a call, with my camera off, um, because it'll help me, um, keep my brain
Hmm.
actually hearing what's going on. And it used to make my husband nuts because we'd be watching something and I'd be playing solitaire and he was like, "Do you wanna watch something else? Like, are you bored?" Like, "No."
Tyler has done the same thing to me, exact same thing. And Frank agrees with you, Portal
Mm.
2 and Sanctum 2. And I had to look up Sanctum 2, and I'm much more of the role playing, like the fantasy games of like Dragon Age or Fable or
Oh,
Mass
yeah.
Effect
Yeah, it's
or
an entire nope for me.
a lot of the Final Fantasies, but I haven't checked them all out. I haven't played those in a while, but it's like there's a big difference, but I'm also like Tyler has called me out so many times of me being a homebody. Like I could just sit and play video games. I
Mhm,
basically have done that the last few days.
sure.
And I think that's the cool thing is they all can be a little different, but I
Mhm,
would still I think it's just going to be like a blanket challenge to everybody to try out D&D. I just love it.
mhm,
But it is a lot of fun. And
mhm.
um, I think that's the cool thing, though, is that there's like, we all get to have our differences
Sure.
of you love those games. And I'm just like, I did like Portal, but I was like, I definitely got bored of Portal because it didn't have enough interaction.
Ah. See, yeah, and I've tried playing some of the games where you, like, walk up to characters and they talk to you and so on,
Hmm.
and it just makes my skin crawl right off my body.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
I
And
can't stand it.
yeah, it's
I
definitely
wanna
something.
be I I wanna be alone with GLaDOS, basically, and, like, solving puzzles, and that's my happy place.
I do think I want to get back into Sudoku. As
Okay.
we've talking
Yeah.
about this, I feel like Sudoku was a fun one.
It is actually true, I just realized. GLaDOS is the only video game character who has talked to me and not made me go like, "Ah, stop talking immediately, I can't deal with this."
Fair enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough. How are you? You said it's hard for you to get into new TV shows. Do you
Mhm.
actually sit and watch them once you are in a TV show?
You mean as opposed to, like, playing solitaire or crocheting or knitting or whatever?
No, I mean, I fast watch things, meaning that normally the first season I'm really good at like sitting through and watching it. After that, I will do uh I'll watch the beginning, a smidge of the middle, and then I watch the end of each episode. So I can watch an entire season of something
Oh.
within a day because it has the gist and the storyline that you
Uh-huh.
normally don't miss anything. And if you watch the beginning, if you did miss something, it'll show you it.
Don't think that would work for my brain.
I haven't met anybody else that does that. That's why I'm asking.
Mhm. Mhm. I would do that with, like, nonfiction,
Okay.
potentially, but with something that is fiction, not so much. On the other hand, I do that, I guess I do exactly that with some things because I sleep to stuff. I can't sleep without dialogue to listen to, or else
Hmm.
my brain will eat me, and, so I'll sleep so it's something that either I have already seen it a lot of times, and so um, I don't have to worry about missing anything, or I don't care about missing things. And that is a little bit like, I can do the thing where, like, usually I'll hear the beginning, and then I fall
Hmm.
asleep, and then I'll wake up in the middle, and I don't go back and check out what I missed unless it's something particularly compelling. And I can do that with, some things, like, one of my favorites for that would be British mysteries.
Hmm.
British crime dramas. Those are
Oh.
perfect, uh, nap
The IT crowd.
material
I
for
could
me.
do that to the IT crowd,
Okay,
which
I
is
haven't seen it.
oh, you should see it. I can't sleep with dialogue though, or the TV on
Mm.
because the volumes fluctuate.
Oh, so you do have to be really careful. For me, like, I don't sleep to call the midwife because they're screaming, right? Well, because birth, right? Um,
Because birth.
otherwise having done it a few times, screaming. Um, so yeah, can't otherwise I could totally sleep to call the midwife, but I can't because they're screaming. But I can sleep to, Gilmore Girls. I can sleep to yeah, there's like I have a list of shows that I can sleep to, and I kind of rotate through them.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I
once my husband went through and he modulated the sound on all the episodes of a show for me so that I could sleep to it without it waking me up.
oh, that is love right
That's
there.
love.
That is
Mhm.
love. And yes, Chris, the IT crowd is amazing.
Mm.
I think this entire conversation is just making me think how nerdy I am.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah. Tyler told me this the other day of he's like, "Oh, yes, yes, yes. I literally listen to everything on double time or faster. I can
Mm.
I can't handle it if it's not."
Mhm. I
It
do that with podcasts and with so it's gonna be a nonfiction thing again. Like, I do it with podcasts, I do it with audiobooks, I do it with YouTube. I would not want to do it for fiction.
I would love to watch all TV on double time. It would make me
Okay.
really, really happy because for me, it's also like I think it's also being like in the production world and working behind the scenes and seeing how they build. I'm like, I get that we need some B-roll here of them walking, but that is a waste of time. Let me
Mm,
know the dialogue. Get to the
mhm,
dialogue.
mhm,
Um, and I will say Netflix on a laptop will let you watch it on 1.5, but on a TV it doesn't. And I haven't
mm,
found that as an option on um, Hulu or anything like that. I think that's a big reason that I do skip through them
mhm,
to watch the
mhm,
beginning, middle, and end.
mhm,
Um, Also, my brain just kind of puts it together. I don't mean to, but it drives Tyler insane
mm.
because he'll
Gotcha.
walk away or I'll walk away and he'll watch like a couple episodes of something and I'll be like, "Hey, I bet this happened." And he's like, "Stop. It's creepy. Stop." "Eh, I love all of our different habits. It's so
Mhm,
fun." But next week, I don't know. Maybe next week we'll go through OBS cuz I really do want to get that set up.
mhm.
It has cool clicky clicky things and
Yeah.
better options and
Maybe we could invite Ramon to join us and talk about OBS with us. Because I have shared my OBS woes with Ramon before.
yes, let's see if
Yeah.
he'd be down. I'd
Mhm.
be down. That
Yeah.
would be fun to have a guest on Misc Mondays. He'll be our
Mhm.
first guest.
That's true.
Oh, that's fun.
Yay.
Oh, that's
Mhm.
fun. All right. And everybody, please comment or DM us if there's topics you want us to talk about. This
Mhm.
is the fun part about Misc Mondays is we can
Yeah.
talk about whatever because
Mhm.
talking about video games and TV habits was not on our to-do list today.
Yeah.
But I love it. All
Yep.
right. I am anything else you want to go over today before I go work on finding someone to raid people to?
I think I am all good.
I honestly don't even know if raiding is still a thing because I haven't touched Twitch in forever.
Mm,
So we're gonna hope so. This
I
person
would
looks
think
cool.
so.
It's weird to not have streamed for so long.
Yeah.
Yes, come back and visit and hang out with us.
Yes.
I need to go here, here, raid channel, here, go. And oh my gosh, it gives a weird countdown. I hope all streamers are this awkward about going to raid. Well, thank you everyone, and we will see you next week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.